What up, though, fellas? Back at it again with another video. Because, we improving every day. Today, man, we going to talk about how the way women treat you and the way women behave in your presence is a decent gauge of your masculinity. Let me repeat that. The way women treat you and the way women behave while in your presence is a decent gauge of your masculinity. Now, what does all that mumbo jumbo mean? Chris, what the hell are you talking about? We talked about this time and time again, and you've probably heard it from other content creators as well. Women respond differently to certain men. Women are very chameleon-like. How chameleons can change the color of their skin to the color of the surface that they're on for camouflage purposes. Women are chameleon-like in the sense that they'll act certain ways to and around certain men in order to get a certain reaction out of that man, or to get a certain resource out of that man. You know what I'm saying? So the way a woman treats an effeminate man, a man who is not based and grounded in his masculinity, a man who may not even be aware of his masculinity, a man who's very effeminate, he might have a very nervous sounding voice, a very shaky voice. He might have really poor posture. He might not take care of himself physically, so he looks really weak, whether he's fat or, hella skinny. He doesn't look healthy. He doesn't move with any vitality or power, strength. He doesn't seem to have any leadership capabilities or assertiveness. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the ability to assert himself in certain situations, even when the situation deems that is necessary. He comes off very timid, very shy, very reserved. And there's a difference between being shy and just, not really being a talker. Plenty of very masculine men are not talkers, but there's a difference between not being a talker and being shy and being reserved and being timid. It's not talking rooted in insecurity. A person who's just not a talker just doesn't feel the need to talk much. You know what I'm saying? But a shy guy, a very reserved guy, a very timid guy, may not talk much because he's insecure of the reactions that he may get from what he says. If that's a man like that, if a woman is around a man like that, she's going to act. Well, I won't generalize. Let me specify. Some women, this is never all women. This is never all men. Never talking in absolutes. This is many women, and certain women are going to act differently than others. Some women were raised to be feminine women, so they may treat every man, like a man to a degree. But when they see that man, when they see that one man, when they see that masculine man, it's something extra that they're giving out, or there's some women who may not really be grounded in their femininity, just as that man may not be rooted in his masculinity. And so she only really acts feminine or behaves feminine rather around masculine men because that's the only type of energy that'll bring it out of her, because she doesn't know how to channel it. It's not in her consciously, so when that kind of woman, which I will argue is, I can only speak for the black community. I would say in the black community, that's probably the standard woman. At least in my age range, like 18 to 24, 25, 26, not really being tapped into their femininity, because of the way they was raised, the circumstances they were raised in. And the average male in my age range is the same, respectively, not rooted in their masculinity. And so when that woman runs into an effeminate man, a man that's not very masculine, she's not going to treat him with the same respect as she would treat a masculine man. She's not going to treat him with the same respect, or not respect, excuse me. She's not going to treat him with the same admiration. She's not going to value his word as much. She's not going to value his energy as much. She might not value him at all. You know what I'm saying? Now, depending on who she is and the kind of time she on, you know, she might act nice. She might act all ditzy for that man because he might have some resources he'll give up to her. You know what I'm saying? Women know the men who they can extort resources from and who they can't. So she might act nice around that dude. You know, she might act feminine around that dude, but it's for a purpose. And that purpose is to get something out of him. You understand me? That's how dudes end up. You know, I just seen a tweet that my man sent me earlier. Like, this was like 20, 30 minutes ago I'm talking about. Where he's a guy with money, you know. He's a guy with money, and he met a woman who, she had a kid, you know. He met a woman with a kid. Now, they met at the club. They met at the club. He found out she had a kid. But they got to know each other over like 2 weeks, right? Like 2 weeks, which is nothing. You know, so they quote unquote got to know each other for like 2 weeks, and he started catching feelings. So after 2 weeks, he started catching feelings, and he took her on a vacation. He took her on a vacation. You know what I'm saying? Him and her went on vacation together. And then following that, the woman then brought up the idea of them moving in, you know, and was showing him condos and houses that she wanted him to buy. You know what I'm saying? And he was on Twitter asking people what they thought about his situation. You know what I'm saying? And he was a grown man talking about, you know, I'm a Sagittarius, so I like to do stuff spontaneously. You know, I don't need time to guide me to people. I just do stuff, and I let the spontaneous actions just take me where life take me. All kind of BS, right? Basically, he was just trying not to say that he caught feelings, and he was trying to impress the chick with his money and keep the chick around with his money. And the thing that he was really posting about was because she was talking to other men while they were talking. And so in the text messages, he was asking her, like, you know, he didn't like how she was talking to other men while they were in the midst of, like, you know, talking about moving in together, even though they've only known each other for like way less than 6 months. And so that's an example of how a woman, especially when she needs resources, you know, this woman had a kid, so she probably poor. She was probably poor looking for a lick, or maybe not poor, but just, you know, couldn't afford the lifestyle that she want her and her daughter to live. So she acted a certain way to this man. She acted nice to this man, disingenuously, to get resources out of him. You know what I'm saying? But the other dude she was talking to on the side, who he didn't like her talking to, she was probably showing them a whole different side. You know what I'm saying? But to bring it back to real life, or not real life, but to bring it back just to the conversation at hand and leave y'all with that example. When a woman is around a masculine man, you know, she's going to act very feminine, very woman-like. You know, her energy is going to be much more radiant. It's going to be much more fresh. You know, I've said this before, her feminine may caress your masculine. You know what I'm saying? I've told y'all about the chick I met who had a reputation of being very wild, very masculine. You know, dudes was always shooting for her though, because she was wild. She was very like a Cardi B type chick. You know what I'm saying? Like Cardi B type chick. Like, you could tell she a freak, but she very like masculine tendencies. You know what I'm saying? But when I first met her, she was very feminine, very nice, very quiet, very reserved. You know, we had conversation, and it had me fooled for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But then we had a mutual friend walk in the room, and she just started acting her, you know, herself. And that was a great example of how woman is going to behave a certain way around a masculine man versus a non-masculine man. I'll just say that. You know, she's not going to show you the same respect. She's not going to value your time and value your energy and value the things that you may do in her presence. You know what I'm saying? With a masculine man, a woman may just call you up and just want to sit with you, you know. She may just want to be in your presence because it makes her feel so good. She may just want to hear you talk to her on the phone. She may FaceTime you just because she want to see you. You know what I'm saying? And let's not get started on the difference in sex. You know what I'm saying? We're not even going to talk about that. We're not even going to talk about the difference between the starfish sex and what Ron Wheels would like to say, the starfish sex versus, you know, her hanging off the chandelier, you know, when she jumping up and pausing in the air. You know what I'm saying? That's what Ron Wheels be saying, Uncle Ron. But I'ma close, man. Women are gonna act different to every man. But if you're a masculine man, the vast majority of women are gonna behave very feminine to you. You know, your interactions with women are gonna be very favorable. You know, you might, when you hear all these dudes complaining about women and stuff, you might be sitting there confused. Like, you know, I don't experience women trying to crush my ego and trying to extort me for money and, you know, trying to waste my time and playing games. I don't experience that. Whereas a lot of other guys, their testimonies are, you know, every time they talk to a woman, the woman is loud and might be very rambunctious. We could say ratchet. You know, they waste their time, they waste their energy. You know what I'm saying? They don't respond back fast enough to calls or text messages, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, they take them out on a date and then the chick never hit them up again. Or they dry texting them, you know what I'm saying? The chick don't want to look them in their eyes when they talking. All that kind of stuff. A man should gauge those experiences to let him know that he's not in his ultimate masculine presence. I'm gonna say that. He may not be rooted in who he truly is in regards to his masculinity. You know, because otherwise, women wouldn't be wasting his time. Women wouldn't be grimacing at him when he walk up to him. Women wouldn't be, you know, trying to avoid eye contact when they talking. You feel me? So that's the topic for today, man. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.